Welcome! Welcome to episode 6 of Weird Blues Tales. Hey buddies! Glad you made it. This is episode 6 of Weird Blues Tales. It's about how I accidentally shut down the New York State Thoroughfare for 3 hours. It's a harrowing tale. We started off on a road trip, me and my son, going from the southern Rocky Mountains, and we were driving to New Hampshire for a wedding. We started off really good. Everything was really smooth. We were having a great time. It was just wonderful. So yeah, I'd never actually been down south before. I'd been over the western United States and part of the northern states, but never down south. So we had to cut through Missouri. And everything was going fine until we got to St. Louis. And we got to this junction where like 5 freeways came together. And there was like this stack of turnpikes, like 5 layers. And man, I couldn't find my ramp to get on the freeway I needed. And we kept driving around, and we ended up on the bottom of this thing in the dirt with 5 levels of turnpike above us there. And this place was desolate. There was maybe a couple of run-down, torn-down buildings, but the rest was just vacant lots. There wasn't any street lights. There was 1 or 2 traffic lights, but there were no amenities like gas stations or stores. Didn't see any people. We're driving around trying to find some instructions, maybe get some help. And lo and behold, the Lord provided us with an ancient gentleman who was walking down the street. And we stopped and we explained our story to him, and he said, "You boys ain't around here from you. You ain't from around here, are you?" "No, we're not." "So I'm going to help you out." So he gave us instructions, turn right, turn left, do this, do that. And he said, "But listen to me carefully. Don't stop for anything. If you see a red light, run it. See if somebody looks like they need help, go by them. Don't stop. Just follow the instructions I gave you. and you'll get on your exit. You'll be okay. And we did. We ran the red lights, and we got on our freeway, and we were cruising. We were going down the road again. God bless us. We was cruising till we got to Brazil, Indiana, and my transmission went tits up. We were driving my gold 280ZX, my favorite car I ever owned. It's just wonderful, but Brazil, Indiana transmission went out. Luckily, I found a truck driver at a truck stop that had a friend in Brazil that helped us out. He came, brought us to a motel, towed our car to his shop, fixed it up, came and picked us up in the morning. I think he only charged me like $600 or $800 for a rebuilt transmission. I can't remember, but it was really cheap. That was the only night we stayed in a hotel, too. So, off we go. We're on the road again. And we're journeying. When we get to New York, let me explain something to you about the freeways back east. Out here in the west where we've got freeways, and they've got rest stops. And those rest stops are just a flat little turnoff off the freeway. There's usually a bathroom and a couple of picnic tables, and that's it. No amenities, nothing fancy. But back east, when you get off the freeway, it's a ramp. You go uphill on a curve, and when you get up there, there's like Burger Kings and gas stations and 7-Elevens and whatnot. So you don't ever have to go into town. They keep you on the freeway, which is cool. So we get to this one rest stop about, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. We're both beat. My son is passed out in the passenger seat, asleep. Had a hard time with my car. There was a short in the starter relay. So I had a little jump wire that I had to go open the hood and attach it to the battery and start the car. So to avoid that, I would just throw in the neutral, put the emergency brake on, leave it running, do whatever I had to do. So my son's asleep in the front seat. I jump out of the car with cash in hand, go over to the kiosk where they're selling the gas. I was going to give him cash. And I'm there maybe 90 seconds. It couldn't have been more than 90 seconds. There's a person in front of me in line paying for his gas. I turn around. My car's gone. My car's gone with my son in it. I'm freaking. I'm looking around, and there was like maybe 8 cars there with maybe more than a dozen people running around. It's daylight. Did you see my car? My car's gone. My son was in it. Nobody saw anything. Nothing. I'm freaking. I'm screaming. Call the cops. Call the cops. My son's gone. Somebody stole my car and my son's in it. So they called the highway patrol, and they came out. And I'm freaking. I'm just freaking out. And so they figured out the time allotment from the time that my car and my son disappeared to how many miles somebody could have gone. So they blocked off and put roadblocks up on the New York State Thoroughfare for 20 to 30 miles on both directions from the gas station. And they shut everything down. Highway patrolman puts me in his car. We're driving, we're going up and down looking. They had CB radios in those days with truckers, and they're talking to the truckers. Nobody's seeing nothing. So after about an hour and a half of finding nothing and me praying harder than I ever had in my life, we get a message from a truck driver. And he says, "You boys looking for a missing car?" And we're like, yeah. He says, "I think I've seen some exhaust coming out of bushes over here." And he gives us the mile marker. And it's right by that gas station. Oh man, puts on the red lights. We're driving down there. Now, these are 4-lane freeways. There's 4 lanes going in one direction, 4 lanes going in the other direction, with the median with a big dip in it. And then on the other side was a field, just like a farmer's field. And there was like a maybe 30-foot round clump of bushes, maybe 4 or 5 feet high. But you can see all over, there's nothing. And my son's not there, my car's not there. I'm freaking out. And this truck driver, yeah, I think there's some exhaust coming out of those bushes. So me and the highway patrolman, we're way down the road. He drives over the median, flips around, puts the red lights on, and we go down there. I jump out of the car before he even stops, and I run over to those bushes. And sure enough, there's my car running in those bushes. You couldn't see it. All you could see was this truck driver had good eyes. You could see some exhaust coming out. First thing I did, of course, was look inside. My son was in there. He was dead asleep. He wasn't dead. He was just asleep. But he was laying on the emergency brake. Okay. So for this car, my car, to get over there with my son in it, it had to roll down that ramp at a curve, turn at a 90-degree angle, cross 4 lanes of oncoming traffic, go down that median, which was probably about 40 feet, up the other side of the median, across 4 more lanes of traffic, then probably 100 to 150 feet through a vacant field, and then into those bushes and stop. Only the Lord saved him from getting hit by oncoming cars or something. But the also amazing thing is nobody saw anything. This is broad daylight. Nobody saw this car just roll down the hill, curve, go across 4 lanes, going down an embankment, up an embankment, across 4 more lanes of traffic, into this field, into this bush. Nobody saw anything. Nobody saw nothing. And I'm freaking out. I mean, I'm just freaking out. Okay? So, I get my car. Prior to this, I forgot to tell you, the day before we were in Brazil, Indiana, and my transmission went tits up. And luckily I found some guy, a truck driver that knew a guy that helped us out and gave me a rebuilt transmission for really cheap. And he took us to a motel room, took care of us. That was the only night we spent in a hotel. So we were pretty tired. You know, so what had happened was my son is a championship sleeper. Okay, let me just digress for a minute here. When he was 8 years old, I got a call from the principal's office one day. He said, "Your son is overdosed on drugs." What? My son's 8 years old. What the hell are you talking about? He doesn't take drugs. And I had told the principal prior that if anything was happening to my son, if he acted up, got in trouble, was there any problem, don't call anybody, don't discipline my son, you call me. I'll come down, I'll fix it, I'll discipline him. So the principal was pretty freaked out about me. So he calls me on the phone, "Yeah, your son, he's overdosed on drugs." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he says, "Well, they had recess, and after recess we couldn't find him. We finally found him. He was in the coat closet, and we can't wake him up." And I'm like, "Oh God, he's a champion. He's a championship sleeper." I said, "Listen to me carefully. Don't call an ambulance. Don't call the cops. Just listen to me. Go back down to the closet, pick him up, stand him on his feet, and let go. And as soon as you let go, he'll wake up." And he did. About 3 minutes later, principal comes back, calls me, "Yeah, you're right. He's fine. I'm sorry. He was just sleeping." So anyway, my boy's a championship sleeper. So what happened was, when I got out to pay for that gas, he rolled over on the emergency brake, never woke up, shut it off. He rolled down this curve at a 90-degree angle, crossed 4 lanes of oncoming traffic, went down that ditch, back up, crossed 4 more lanes, maybe 150 feet into this field, and then end up in the bushes. He never woke up. But he was fine. But they had closed down the New York State Thoroughfare for 20 to 30 miles in each direction of that gas station. Set up roadblocks. They were checking everything and everybody for my car and my kid. And yeah, they went all out. And it was, about 3 hours before we found him. Okay, so I mean, I'm all happy. I'm thanking the Lord. I am just so grateful. And my son, he doesn't know what's going on. He was just sleeping. "Where am I? What happened?" Okay. And the funny thing is, the highway patrolman gave me a ticket. He gave me a ticket for leaving a child unattended in a running car. And I just figured, probably never coming back to New York again, so whatever, give me the ticket, I never paid it. Anyhow, we were off back on the road again. Made it to the wedding, attended the wedding, and drove back home. And that is the story of how I got the New York State Thoroughfare shut down for about 3 hours. And I just thank God that my kid was all right, my car was all right, everybody was all right. But that's the story. Scared the crap out of me. Probably the most praying I've ever done in my life. And it was all good, but I hope you enjoyed episode 6 of Weird Blues Tales. There'll be more coming. I'm sorry this one was late. I had some problems, but those problems are fixed now. I'm glad you're here with me. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Weird Blues Tales. Please like, subscribe, and share. I'm trying to do stuff, and it would really help me out. I would love to have you subscriptions. Doesn't cost any money. But if you could like, subscribe, and leave a comment, I would be most grateful. I hope you have a most pleasant day, and thank you again for tuning in to Weird Blues Tales. I told you I'd be playing my 1968 Stratocaster today. And this is it. This is my first real guitar. It's highly modified. It's got a Seymour Duncan Screaming Demon pickup in the back. It used to be the Sunburst, and I didn't like the Sunburst. So I sanded off that on the front so I got wood. I was in electronics college at the time. My friend put the pickup in, and then he took the three-way toggle here that's normally a three-way toggle that goes 1, 2, 3, and made it 5 ways. So the two intermittent patterns are out of phase, so it gives me a little bit more distortion and feeling and more sound. So this is it, my 1968 Stratocaster. I think I said Les Paul because I'm stupid right now. This is my 1968 Stratocaster. It was my first real guitar. I bought it when I was 17, and I didn't buy it new because I wasn't 17 in 1968. But I got it used, and I modified it. My first real guitar, and I still have it. I still love it. And thank you for being with me for episode 6 of Weird Blues Tales. I love you all very much. I hope you have a safe, wonderful life, and that you take care of each other, share that smile, and share your love. I love you all very much. Till next time.